Hi, this is Mark Pizik with another Flame tutorial video. Today's topic is vetting entries. This video is meant primarily for regional coordinators or for others who are in a position to check the work of others on the Flame project. Take a look at the video's description. We have links to the website there and contact information for those who wish to send an email. Let's begin at the level of the coin find. This is sort of like a first pass and can reveal some basic problems right off the bat. So how many coins have been reported? Does this look reasonable given what the source is? Let's take a look, for example, at the Hama Horde. It reports 60 coins, and if we actually bring up the PDF here, Kiwan and Cecile Morrison, the relevant section shows that you go through 1 all the way to 60, and that seems to be correct. So in this case, this seems to work out just fine. Another find specific check that you can do has to do with the location of the find itself. This is a common place where errors creep into data entry, and so we want to check this at least in the broadest respect. We don't expect our finds to be exactly located. In most cases, this is not feasible. However, there are cases in which errors can be quite severe, so we want to make sure to get those out of the way. Beginning again with the Hama Horde, for example, we know that the ancient name was Amathe or Epiphaneia. We have latitude and longitude available to us that the user will have put in. Now, this is from Pleiades, so I think that we're on more secure grounds. But in cases where the user has put in their own coordinates, I would suggest, again, going to Pleiades and making sure that we know where the location is, right? This is in Syria. It gives you the latitude and longitude. If we go to that place, we can see that this is in fact Hama. There's Hama Castle. One of the common sources of error for this sort of input is the transposition of latitude and longitude. So if we move those around and replace one with the other, we can see that this takes us to a spot in Turkey. And we need to guard against these kinds of basic errors that put us into a spot that, although it's not that far away, is a fundamental error. And it's even more radical if we go to certain other locations. So take, for example, Prague. There are a lot of check entries in Flame. Now, if one of these were to be transposed, it would yield a significant error where we wind up in the ocean just off the coast of Yemen. So you can see how this would be a severe problem. In the case of Prague, pretty easy to diagnose because it would show up on the map as an obvious error. However, in cases like Hama and this spot in Turkey, we need to be particularly vigilant that these errors don't creep into our workflow. Okay, so the find looks good. Now we're going to move on to groups, which are the constituent parts of the find. You can begin with a simple question. Does it have groups? It should. If it doesn't, then that's a problem. Let's say it does have groups. Let's bring those up. We'll go into the Coin Groups tab. We want to check these groups against what we see in the find catalog. Can you identify the groups that they're talking about? Are they digitized in a way that you would agree with? So let's take a look at what we have here. We have 2 Tremises of Justin I, 1 Samesis, and 3 Solidi of Justin I. And if we look at the PDF, we find 2 Tremises, 1 Semesis, and 3 Solidi of Justin I. And so in this case, I think this is a good sign. In a real life scenario where you were vetting, you would want to do perhaps a few more groups than this, but this is a good sign that things are proceeding on an acceptable track. And if you repeat this a few more times, I think that that's a good way to do the group vetting. If you find that the worker has not digitized the groups in a way that you agree with, you'll want to be specific about the ways in which you disagree with their digitization and bring it up with them as a way of correcting their work going forward. Another area of concern is bibliographic materials and entering find publications into Zotero. So you're going to want to make sure that for every find that you check, make sure that it has a source publication, and then go to Zotero and check to make sure that that equivalent source is also in our library database. And there isn't really much more to it. You could certainly be more thorough if you choose. You could go through more groups, go through more finds, and you could check them as much as you'd like. We do want to avoid micromanagement, of course. But in any case, if you feel you have any questions or concerns, you can contact a Flame staff person who can advise further on the process.